A lot of people say that Star Extra is a stage that needs super festival units like Hunter x Hunter Flander, Marisa and Marisa. However, that is not entirely true. I've done a few hundred runs with this comp and it's not super consistent. It's about 1 in 80 fail rates at purple heart, so with pink hearts probably like 1 in 120. It's not the best in terms of consistency, but if you're lacking the super festival units, then this might be a good alternative for you. In my previous video, I explained the general strategy of how to defeat this stage, and now I'm gonna show you how this team can satisfy those conditions. On turn 1, you need to do 7 star breaks to full break Altarisa as well as set up a nuke for turn 2. Additionally, you also need to kill one of the Tengu. I'm using Shizuha for her third skill, which gives 0.8 spirit power to the whole party, and then I'm switching her out immediately. With the help of Shizuha, Shinyoumaru can reach 3 power on turn 1 and do 6 star breaks with her last word. Marisa does the last star break and Hecatia uses her spell card to Great Spurs one of the Tengu. Because Shinyoumaru does all the star breaks, I don't have to boost at all with the other characters, meaning that I can save their spirit power. That means that I don't need to use Witch of Scarlet Dreams on their spell cards to gain power, and instead I can use some other cards which set up their attack, like Ordinary Magician. It's important that I take 1 gauge from the Tengu here so that next turn I can kill it and drop the bomb item. So on turn 2, I'm just using a bunch of more skills and then using some last words to kill off Altarisa. It's really convenient that Shinyoumaru's AoE shot is Slash bullets, which allows her to kill the Tengu, because Slash is one of the bullet types that the Tengu never resist. Here you'll see why I'm using Shizuha instead of putting a power link in front of Hecatia. By switching in Marisa, you can avoid her getting Grace Lock at the start, which means that now she can graze away the freeze barriers from Hecatia's skill. This is very important because I need to use Hecatia's skill for her to have enough damage. I have to get rid of those freeze barriers because if Marisa gets delayed, Shinyoumaru will go before her and kill the Tengu before Marisa uses her last word, which means that Marisa's last word will not get restored by the bomb item. Note that Shinyoumaru's skill grants her accuracy here, so her spread shots will not miss. Turn 3 is really similar to turn 1. Again, I have to full break Altarisa immediately, so that because her shot does a lot of damage, and if I don't full break her here, she will shoot one of my characters and kill them. Here you can see all the buffs Marisa has from story cards, skills, as well as spell card effects. And you can see that her Yang attack and agility are maxed. She does have slicing on the last word, which means that a percentage of her agility stat is added to her attack stat in the damage calculations. So the agility buffs make her do more damage. Again, because Shinyoumaru is carrying the team in terms of breaks, I don't have to boost on any of the other characters. This allows me to use buffing story cards on Marisa, like Worlds in Hand, which buffs crit attack by 2 levels for 2 turns party-wide. It's very important to extend Marisa's crit attack buffs because she does not have any way to do that in her own kit. You'll notice that every single turn I'm using a Worlds in Hand story card either on Hecatia's last word or on one of Marisa's spell cards to keep up Marisa's crit attack. The enemy Altarisa is considered part of Scarlet Devil Mansion, and this Marisa has a lot of Scarlet Devil Mansion killer on her last word. As you can see from all these pink numbers, it means you're hitting killer, which basically means that it's a guaranteed crit. This is why it's so important to keep Marisa's crit attack high throughout this battle so that she can do enough damage. Again, Shinyoumaru's shot kills off the Tengu, dropping the bomb item which restores the last words of my characters. Turn 5 is, yep, you guessed it, exactly the same thing as turn 3. Shinyoumaru easily does 6 breaks, allowing the rest of my characters to use setup cards instead of Witch of Scarlet Dreams to regain power. Again, note the use of Worlds in Hand on Marisa's card to extend her crit attack. I'm using Overwhelming Firepower here on Hecatia, which is quite important because at this point her Yin attack buffs have run out, so it's important to give her more Yin attack. The combination of her spell card's effect, which gives her 2 Yin attack, and Overwhelming Firepower, which gives her another 3 Yin attack, brings her back up to 5 Yin attack, which is sufficient to kill. And on the last turn, it's just more last words to finally kill off Marisa. Again, Marisa does lots of damage because she has very high crit attack at this point, and the killer on her last word means that it's a guaranteed crit against Altarisa. Even though Marisa's last word is mostly water, and Altarisa has a character ability which basically says that she takes less damage from elements that she resists, which in this case is everything except for Star, it still does massive amounts of damage. Now let's take a look at some of the reasons why this team fails. Here you can see that on the last turn, Hecatia only had 2 power for her last word. This is because of the randomness of her passive, which has a chance to give her power. If you get unlucky and this passive does not activate enough, then she will not have 3 power on the last turn. She will use her last word at 2 power, which is not enough damage. There isn't any good way for me to fix this. I can't sacrifice a buffing card to add a power generation card. However, this happened really rarely, only about once in the 300 runs that I did. The most common source of failure is just because Hecatia simply doesn't do enough damage. She does rely on critical hits for some of her damage, so when you low roll those crits, she won't do as much damage. And this happens in the last turn because that's the turn where Hecatia does not have a lot of yin attack buffs. Even though she has 3 power, she still didn't do enough damage. There's a very easy way to fix this, and that's just by having pink heart units instead of purple hearts. These 2 units are purple heart, which means they lose about 9% of stats. So with pink heart, this should be a lot more consistent. If you want to see more Star Extra stuff, check out this playlist with my Star Extra guide as well as the other team compositions, which I hope to feature soon. Also, if you want to see more content, consider subscribing as it will motivate me to make more stuff. Goodbye.